I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and despite what you're seeing on the screen, this is in fact the 5th and the last round of the Carcassonne Champions League 2025. You are going to see the players in a second. This actually is something that is quite easy to take care of, and there we go. Everywhere, all the members of the playoff have already been decided, except for Group B. Game Over of Romania is playing off Lambe of Italy, and currently Game Over is in 3rd place. So if nothing bad happens for him, then he's going to be in the playoffs. But Lambe has a chance, with no benefit to himself other than prestige and schadenfreude. Lambe has the chance to knock out the Romanian if he were to win 2-0 today. If Lambe wins 2-0, then even though Game Over is going to have the same number of won matches as Xiangyu Xin, who's currently in 4th place, his tiebreaker is going to get worse. So this is the last bit of intrigue in Group B. Well, actually, there are 3 matches going on at the same time. It's just that y'all overwhelmingly chose Game Over versus Lambe. 2 other interesting matches, namely Isloun versus Tito Arce in the same group, should be interesting because this is battle for the 1st place. But never mind that. And then, of course, there is a match between Lithuania and France for prestige as well. Just in case I've opened the profile pages of all of these players, we will be focusing on Game Over versus Lambe. Well, unless there are delays. What's that about? They're both online, though. They should be starting in about a minute. And the game has, in fact, been created. Okay, there we go. It is about to start, but I'll open the other 2 games just in case. Hi Helge, hi Daniel, thank you for the kind words. Hi Napamai. Have these guys started? Let's just check in a second. Yeah, as for the chances of these players, of course, Game Over has to be the favorites. The reigning bronze medalist of the World Championship and just generally a very strong player. Lambe, of course, expert level player too, but I would give maybe Bogdan a 65% chance to win this match. But we've seen all kinds of upsets happen. And actually, at the moment, Lambe is higher rated than Bogdan. So that is interesting. However, Bogdan with the red meeples gets the starting player advantage and already scores 4 points. Loop Road is commenced by the yellow meeples of the Italian. Hi Nico, hi Girappa. Do let me know in the chat who you're rooting for. Who do you rather have in the playoffs, Xiangyu or Bogdan? Some more city tiles for Bogdan. Of course, he's not going to complete his city. He'd rather open a new one. Abiding by the principle of 2 cities in the opening. Also putting some pressure on the road. Lambe immediately completes his road, gets some scoreboard points. Bogdan overtakes him on the scoreboard again. He's thinking of even dropping a farmer. Not the worst farmer necessarily. His brother would have done it. And he's also putting pressure on this square. Now, I think the first misstep of the game, as Lambe, you really don't want to go here. I mean, it's not bad. You can start a new road and stuff. But a far stronger move was just simply going here and using the shielded tile for his own city. There's no urgency with the field. It's not really that big. There are plenty of invasion platforms. And because this square is sensitive, you actually want to build here as soon as possible. So imagine if you get this tile over here. First of all, in case you do get blocked, at the very least you get yourself to grow a big ruin. And second, there's some nice defensive possibilities, like if your opponent goes here with a road, and then you can draw a road Dorito tile and cover up this square like this, build up at the top, and enjoy your 20-point city. Okay, now we have a big field fight. Bogdan was planning to finish his 8-point city. Lambe saying, no, not so fast. I'm going to score 3 points for a road and put this thorn into your city. And Bogdan said, fine, I'm going to make a huge field instead. Just like my brother. Alrighty, so Lambe keeps blocking and blocking. This actually is quite wise because Bogdan was going to drop a second farmer, and this is a field certainly worth fighting for. Now, some issues with this guy, but since a new city was started here, this square became a little bit safer because the potential blocking platform has been restricted. Now, none of the 7 remaining straight lines fit into the square to commence some blocking, and came over with a very unusual move. And by unusual, I mean I'm really not a fan of that move at all, but it might work out. It is a move with some inspiration. So he restricts the city sort of, kind of, but he also helps continue it a little bit. Everybody's blocking each other. Lambe was threatening to finish a city on the left, and Bogdan drew this huge tile, and now, well, I guess that's about it. Oh yeah, now Lambe is trying to block Bogdan at the bottom. So what can Red do? Really not much. Either defend, but this wouldn't be a really great defense because this would reduce his own options. Maybe just going here is actually stronger to start put pressure on this square. Yeah, that's actually pretty important. I don't think it's necessarily the best move because even if your opponent successfully restrict the square toward the 75% sure, well, we still get a 75% sure. And then you see he sort of restricted his city toward the starting tile, and we might need a starting tile here. So that could be the problem. Now the first monastery of the game goes to Bogdan. Every monastery spot has advantages and disadvantages. So this is the highest scoring spot on the board for 6 points, but it leaves back a dangling road, and this square here is a tiny bit sensitive, so that it doesn't allow stacking. But this spot is for 5 points, but it controls 2 of Lambe's meeples. But now Lambe gets a fantastic tile, but where does he go with it? Does he go here? Or does he go here, continue his city at the top? If he goes here, that's actually incredibly annoying, because Bogdan cannot easily block this city. Well, he can, but not without hurting his own guy. Luckily, he gets not a straight line, but a curve. And a curve is much better for these sort of blocks than a straight line. He can go here, sort of kind of save this city, still leaving many tiles, and start blocking that city. But I would have loved for him to draw a straight line and see how he would have dealt with this dilemma. In any case, Lambe scores, which also has the negative side effect for him of protecting game over city, but 3 points are 3 points are 3 points. Lambe defends his city, but he's going to get his other city blocked in due course. Oh, Bogdan's monastery is just doing wonders. Look at this. It's controlling 2 cities, and both of these cities need the same dagger tile. And Bogdan just drew... Wait. This is not the same dagger tile. Okay. Right-handed dagger needed here. Left-handed dagger needed here. 1 of each remaining after Bogdan's move. 19 points on the scoreboard and a great position for the player with the red meeples. Lambe trying to block Bogdan here. And it looks like it's gonna work because red does not get a defense tile, but red gets a wonderful tile to start a new road, and most importantly, prevents the threat of Lambe finishing a city and dropping a farmer. Now this threat is renewed, but a great tile for red. This road end will take care of that farming platform. So I have no doubt whatsoever that Bogdan is going to go over here. I can bet any sum of money on this. The only thing that he's thinking about is the orientation of this road. He chooses to stick a thorn into it, given the fact that there's still many city plus field tiles, but not that many city plus road tiles. And now Lambe needs to find his best move. It could be a counterintuitive move, but an expert has to see that blocking is absolutely worth the monastery. It's a fantastic tile, of course, but what's fantasticer is an opponent's meeple trapped for 1 point. So Lambe is still hanging in there. Some meeple issues. This ruin, of course, scores 9, and it's fine, but he really needs to score and get his meeples back. Because 13 points on the scoreboard may seem like not a lot, but it is a lot. 5 points on the scoreboard, it's a different matter, on the other hand. 8-point city finished with the last left-handed dagger. Still one right-handed dagger available for this city. In the meantime, Bogdan successfully invades the ruin on the left. Lambe with a city cap, looking to use this farming platform, or no, he chooses to start the city first and put some pressure on the square, but Bogdan immediately draws a tile that fits there, gets 6 points, gets a meeple back, and the majority again. Lambe with a clunky looking tile, now probably looking to block that field connection platform that he didn't use, because he would really hate to lose this field, but he doesn't. Oh, no, 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 no. Lambe, Lambe, Lambe. That move is rather tragic. Okay. So let's start unpacking this. I guess Lambe really doesn't like Xiang Yuqin. He really wants to help his Romanian neighbor to qualify for the playoffs. So first of all, this meeple it's a self-block. It's, of course, attempt to invade this ruin, but the chances of success aren't great with not many Dorito tiles left here. And even in case of success, the ruin is not worth enough. The fields is worth more. So this ruin was a trap. Second, look at what Bogdan did. He even added a couple of points to Lambe, and this was not just for the purpose of creating a blocking platform against this square, which is still now available. This is also to make sure that this meeple is tied together to that ruin and never sees the light of day. There are no splitters available to separate any of the meeples. So this means that all these three guys are trapped. There's still a chance to block this city connection. Well, not anymore. But even though Lambe managed to invade the ruin, and he's going to score like 15-16 points for it, it's not worth the investments of 3 versus 1 meeples. It's not worth having 2 meeples extra. Bogdan now with the final dagger. This city is now completely blocked. So look at this monastery. Like, this is what happens if you control your opponent's features. Not only did Red get the meeple majority out of it, because 1 trap meeple versus 2, but Red also got more points. 7 for the monasteries, 4 for this, 1 for this. So like 5 points for cities. And Bogdan can make Lambe's life even harder by going here and invading his city. There are, of course, still 2 splitter tiles available, which makes him not go there. I'm a bit surprised about that move, but okay. His position's still really, really good. The reason why I liked the invasion here is that it would delay that city significantly, and that it would give Bogdan a compensation and a chance to block it fully. But the reason why he doesn't want to invade it yet is because he wants to leave this platform open for some sort of straight line. And a straight line would ensure a complete block. And a complete block would mean a big deal. This is the only meeple on the entire board that Lambe could possibly recover. And this is where we're going to see the consequences of having no meeples. Look, such a juicy scoring tiles. 3 points over here, maybe using a city cap, but nuh-uh. No meeples equals no points. And now we're about to see the ending of the game, which will be completely not safe for work, as this city of yellow is completely blocked. These meeples, all of these meeples are never ever coming back, and there's still 12 tiles remaining to be played. Lambe with a splitter tile. So Bogdan's decisions not to invade the city completely paid off. And red can just keep munching on those quick points. Hi Ian, hi Glovier, hi Wise Maze. Thank you, Helge, for reminding that I should really resume my speedrun series. Well, obviously quite busy with the Carcassonne Champions League, with the Mind Sports Olympiad and all kind of stuff, but it's coming back at some point. Because I never canceled the premium on the speedrun account. That's so bad. Yeah, Bogdan's just unnecessarily, of course, but for content, invading the field, and quite successfully so. So all these 12 points that Lambe worked hard for are going to be shared. Wait, are these 12? They're only 9. Huh. This field looks bigger than it actually is. A bit of a scoring tile for Lambe for game over. Maybe looking to start the city here. Maybe looking to inflict psychological damage on his opponents. And maybe go here and add him points. Instead, he chooses to pre-build the 4-point robe, which is immediately neutralized. A curve for the Romanian. He must be thinking if there's some sneaky ways to win the field, maybe. That would be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are no curves remaining, but if they were, he could have gone over here, dropped a farmer, and connected through the outside of a curve at the bottom like this. That would have been fun. Of course, this connection through the dagger would be possible, but there are no more daggers available. Straight line for Bogdan. Ooh, that was actually a really fun move. You know what this move did? That was so smart. It was setting up the crossroads plus straight line sequence to invade with this meeple into the field. Beautiful stuff. Still trying to be precise. Well, I guess it's going to be a huge relief for him, because now Bogdan can afford to lose the rest of the match, because he's going to get this one win to get them the tiebreaker necessary to put him over the edge of the playoff line and to become a major disappointment for all the fans of the Chinese player, who's at least should be watching. Hi Sladen Full asking, do people play any of the expansions in competitive play? So it is rare. Like, sometimes most competitive events are base game only, but some larger events have like expansion side events. So in some national championships, there's the big main event with just the base game, and maybe on it the day before they might be like a warm-up event with expansions play or with multiplayer. I know Carcassonne Expansions is part of the multiplayer. No, it's part of the Mind Sports Olympiad, for example, but it attracts significantly fewer participants than the main event with the base game. So basically, the higher the caliber of the tournament, the less you're likely to see expansions, because expansions add quite a lot of variance into the game, and there is already enough variance with all kind of peculiar tile draws and so on. Actually, I'm surprised that Bogdan only won with this with 14 points. Okay, let's see. Lambe saying YOLO attempt went south. Yeah, it was not a necessary YOLO attempt necessarily. He was doing just fine. And he could have invaded the ruin a little bit later. Maybe without losing this meeple, his position was actually playable, but losing 2 meeples was way too much. Alrighty. But there's still 2 games to be played in this match. Okay, but we need to catch up with this chat. What are they saying? Bogdan said happens sometimes 4 times, probably unintentionally. Huh. Yep. Welcome to Board Game Arena. Sometimes the site does act up, so the players are having some issues setting up the rematch. And it says that I'm having connection issues, but I'm not having connection issues. Okay, well, let's... Unknown network area, thank you very much. Let's see if the other players are doing any better. Welp. That's interesting. So let's see how Isloun's first game is going. Yeah. We can't even see if this is the first game or the second game. No, this is still the first game. So at least we get to watch something while the issues are resolved. Because typically when these issues happen, it does not affect the games which are already in progress, but it affects the creation of new games. So let us just meditate and observe this beautiful white screen. And let's try to not experience any annoyment or frustration because of the wait. We can read the chat a little bit. The players from our main match are still trying to create a new table, albeit unsuccessfully, but in the meantime we will avoid boredom for a couple more minutes as we get to see the final tiles of the match with the second degree of importance, Ilya Slonimsky against Tito Arce. Both of them have guaranteed the qualification spot from the Group B, but they're still fighting for the first place in the group. And the first place has extra perks, because not only do you get to go to the playoffs, you also get to go to the second round of playoffs. So you play one fewer match, and you probably get yourself an easier opponent. And this looks really well for Ilya, who is playing his traditional black meeples. 23 points ahead on the scoreboard and 2 meeples extra. I don't think he's going to have trouble converting this, but let's see if Tito has something to respond with. Actually, yes, he does. One farm for 12 points, another farm for 12 points, and that is enough to compensate for the scoreboard difference. But Ilya has the 2 meeples extra. This little guy is blocked for 2 points. This ruin for red is worth 8, but it is the same as this monastery. Let's say that these 2 monasteries cancel each other out, but there's also one more ruin for 6 for Isloun. And he can even try and create some additional threats, although not with this tile necessarily. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was thinking that he could maybe go here and try to connect to the city, but all of the 4 cow tiles like this have gone out, so it won't be possible. Maybe going over here, he can set up some sort of invasion into this city. Not that he needs to risk invading anything, but it's a nice opportunity to have. So when you have the situation where you're ahead by a few points, and if your opponent controls a lot of fields, like all you gotta do is score, score, score. So, well, these 4 points helped Tito a little bit. That was a way to score a little bit without the investment of a meeple. You know what? I'm looking at a particular tile which could be super important to this game. I see that there's still one more vertical splitter available. Well, actually, I think I might be overestimating its importance. So in theory, we could go here and drop it in our farm, and then maybe get a city cap with a road to score 6 points for the city and 3 points for the field. But I doubt if we even have city caps with the road anymore, and we don't. Isloun just drops a farmer to pull him health ahead, and look at Tito actually gets the tile, but I don't think he should go here. And he will figure out that it's not going to work, but he goes for the farmer at the top. But unfortunately for him, Ilya gets a city cap. So no 7-pointer for Tito, who's still a couple points behind. Is there one more city cap to score? And I don't think there is. Yeah, this was the last city cap at all. This was a nice attempt. It was a 3-point move, setting up another unblockable 7-point move on both sides. Isloun finishes a monastery and starts a new city. He will not finish the city, but the sole purpose of this move is just to score 2 points without the investment of a meeple. Tito with a curve. How can he score? It's so tough. There are no monasteries. Everything that's remaining is just road tiles and big tiles. Can we just go here for 1 point? Is there a way to maybe like start a 4-point loop, get a meeple back, and then occupy some sort of feature with our last farmer? Is there a road end perhaps? I think there's one road end. So it could be crazy, but going here, for example, even with the meeple on the road, is not the craziest thing in the world. And then we hope for a sequence like a crossroads and then something else. But we need to find a way to score without the investment of a meeple. Maybe this 5-point road somehow could do something. Also, if we go over here, then we have a chance to induce a mistake from our opponents. What if they suddenly see an opening and then try to drop a 0-point farmer to fight for the field? Because this is often the case, like when we don't have practical chances. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Isloun goes for his highest scoring move for 5 points. Tito with a crossroads is something that I would have said in an alternate universe, but not this one. Instead, he just builds up his monastery for a couple of points. Isloun has the road end. And he's going to cruise towards victory with any of the 3-point moves available to him. He could drop a cheeky 3-point farmer, trying to invade through the square, but I don't think there are curves available for an invasion. Or are there? Or are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, let's go. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is a curve. Okay, it's fine. But I think a 3-point farmer was better because it has a chance of invading the field, right? Yeah, look at this. So it would have been like the same move, the same score, but a chance to get an even larger score. So here, of course, it won't matter, as the player with the black meeple demonstrates the power of having a meeple advantage. Toward the game, you take 3 points there, you take 3 points there, and a close game is just enough to pull ahead. So really a miracle needed to happen for Tito, and by miracle I mean just the city cap, really. So worthy effort just did not pay off. Okay, thank you, Helge, for confirming that Bogdan has started his next game. So we're gonna update this one. 8 points for the Israeli. We congratulate them. They're very close to being the leader of the group with 5 victories in 5 matches, but Tito still has 2 chances to prevent that from happening. Back to our main match of the night. So 3 minutes ago they managed to create a table, still both equally rated players, and we already have quite a tense position here, with an advantage for the Italian this time. So Lambe has yellow meeples again, and now an advantage on the scoreboard. He has an extra monastery that was, well, I'm actually not sure about the order here. I think it was being Ukrained by the Romanian, learning some Carcassonne tricks from his neighbors. The point of this meeple is that it's kind of annoying. It makes it difficult for Lambe to build up his monasteries without helping Red City. And in case everything gets blocked here, then Bogdan's going to lose only 1 meeple, whereas the Italian's going to lose 2. In the meantime, the Romanian is about to lose a meeple, perhaps, as yellow's trying to block this square, but unsuccessfully, as a curve is drawn for red to cover up. Still 2 dagger that fit into this square, 75% chance. And upon completion, not only will he get 6 points and a meeple back, but also this lovely 4-point road. And note what yellow did. Yellow actually is okay with having his 2 monasteries blocked against 1 meeple of game over, because these monasteries score so much. It's going to be 16 points against just 2 points off game over. So it's like 14 net points for net 1 meeple. So it's a good investment. Reds catches up on the scoreboard a little bit and immediately starts a new city. Lambe with a fantastic tile, but several good spots for it. This monastery is suitable for a couple of places. First of all, there's this one, which I really like. It sort of pre-finishes this monastery. Yeah, that's a massive, massive waste. Okay, if you don't want to meeple this one, why not this one? It's lovely. It's 5 points. It controls Bogdan's soon-to-be city, and it's very easy to be completed. So I get why he might want to keep meeple for scoring, but he still has multiple places where he can get meeple back. This city is still not that dangerous. Okay, now it's a bit more dangerous. And now a monastery for Lambe, once he has invested the meeple, is like a bit iffier. Yeah, also, by the way, the reason why I like this monastery position is that it's freeloading from Red's monastery. It immediately equalizes the Red's monastery, but I think now we see that Lambe's idea is to simply try block the square. He wants to draw all the monasteries and make sure that Red cannot put nothing there. Red indeed does not draw the last monastery, but he draws just the tile that he needs to equalize Lambe's city and neutralize this threat. Note that he chooses to add it on the left rather than on the right, because if he adds it over here, there is an unlikely yet possible splitter plus dagger combo that would still help Lambe separate his city from the invaders and gets himself 18 points. Now it's no longer possible because there are just too many difficult to fill squares around Yellow City anyway. Fantastic draw for Lambe as he gets a starting tile before the city gets blocked. The Romanian with a Dorito tile. So typically you really want to use those tiles for your own cities. But I see that 5 Dorito tiles are already on the board. So I wonder if a move like this is justified, and probably not. Probably we gotta keep it tight and invade the ruin. Yep. It also opens up some reinvasion squares, which might be a good thing for us, because we are about to get blocked here. Although there's a way how we could help it, actually. But you know what? I don't think we care about this meeple. Because the meeple majority in this position is nice. There's still a lot of city caps remaining, so there's a potential for big fields. This square could be filled, and this square could be filled with not necessarily a monastery. It could be filled with a city cap tile, and there's still 5 vanilla city cap tiles, and Bogdan has an incredibly strong move available to him, actually. He can go over here, point the splitter downwards, and drop a farmer, waiting for one of the 5 vanilla city caps. Ouch. It's an okay move, but in Carcassonne you don't want to play an okay move. You want to play the best move. And I really think that he's missing the chance on completing his monastery. Yeah. By the way, told you, it would have worked. Would have worked. Of course it would have worked. It's statistically so likely. 30 tiles remaining and 5 of them are vanilla city caps. It's like there's just vanilla city caps. It's one of those rigged decks. So you see, he can still go here, and he can still hope to complete his monastery, but for fewer points. Now he has a different idea. Look, this idea is sort of also like neat. So he wants to block the square, but it won't work. So these were a couple of tiles wasted. Okay, whatevs. He gets a 6-point city, so he's happy anyway. And he has the meeple majority because now Lambe is going for the ruin again, which actually technically is not a ruin because it's a completable city. Unlikely, but possible. And this is one of those cases again. Whilst Lambe goes for the ruins, we can go for the fields and score much more. So a tile could go here, a tile could go here. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that Bogdan didn't go here. Not necessarily that I'm rooting for him. If anything, I would probably prefer Lambe to win because this means that we would get a decider and one more game to watch. Need, of course, to remind you all that this is a best of 3. And also just because I like seeing good moves on the board. Like either very good moves or very bad moves. Those are fun. The ones in between are the least fun. But in any case, this move sort of made sense because he was trying to block the square and then set up like a gigantic move where he would get a dagger tile and not... Oh dear. You know what? I was asking for it and I got it. This is a content sequence. So, Lambe drops his last meeple on the farmer, restricting Bogdan's square to the last available monastery. And he drew the monastery on the next turn. What were the odds? Now, the consolation for Lambe is that, of course, he gets the early farmer, but this actually means nothing. The field is so open that being the first on the farm really doesn't do much. what is important in situations like this is just having the meeples to attack the farm. Because let's have a look. So there's a lovely platform here, very easy invasion on the left. There's a hard invasion on the right, which we should absolutely not go for because we're gonna get ourselves blocked. There's also an invasion over here, either through this square or simply the unblockable 75% chance of invading through this city tile whilst completing our city and dropping a farmer. There's also an option of going over here and dropping a farmer, hoping for the last vanilla city cap tile. It's also possible to go here and so on and so on. Yep, Bogdan goes for the invasion like this. It's a lovely move. And Lambe is now making it clear what he's betting on. He does not want to build a ruin. He wants to complete the city for 32 points or something like this, which would probably win him the game on the spot. Bogdan, textbook farming, textbook meeple majority, uses his meeples to invade the farm and chose the most unblockable spots. Lambe could now re-invade. He could actually go here and drop a farmer with almost 100% chance of re-invasion through a curve or through here. But he can't afford to do this because he learned his lesson from last game, how painful it feels to have no meeples in hand. Bogdan gives himself more chances to invade the field, and one of the curves has been drawn by Lambe. So what does he do with it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, there are only 2 curves remaining. And technically there's like a 6% chance or like 5% chance that Lambe will be able to draw both daggers for this square and both remaining curves. But he does not want to simply bank on that fact, but now game over has a variety of powerful moves. He can simply score. Nothing wrong with that. But he can also go here and pre-build a long road so that if he gets a curve, then he not only connects to the field, but he also gets to score 8 points for a road with 1 click of a mouse. You know, nothing wrong with scoring 3 points either. The reason why he actually wants to do the pre-building probably, well, there are 2 reasons. First of all, if you get the curve first, then that's just a win on the spot. Second, if you do get the curve later, then you kind of have to meeple this road, and you have to use your last meeple so that your opponent does not get the easy 8 points. And so it's sometimes a good idea to pre-finish it. But none of that's going to be necessary as Bogdan finishes his city with a dagger, gets his farmer into the main field, gets a 28-point lead on the scoreboard, still is threatening the other farmer. And this is why Lambe wisely is still praying for his city. There's still a chance. He's also starting another city. He's really trying to score. He invades, Bogdan invades. The city has now become more vulnerable. And Bogdan gets a tile to attack the city. Or does he? Actually, no, he doesn't. So look at this. He could invade the city, yes. But there's still a splitter tile available. So Lambe is still going to have a slightly less than 25% sequence. There's still 1 tile to fill this square. And regardless of how he rotates this tile, there's going to be 1 tile to fill this square. If he takes 5 points for a road, which is what he should do, because it just simply scores more, then there's still a dagger tile that fits into the square. Lambe does not get a dagger, but he gets another city cap to get this meeple back and score a little bit more. 20 points now the difference, but anticlimactically Bogdan simply draws the last Dorito tile that was available of this square, and the valiant efforts of the Italian are not going to pay off. This city is not going to get finished. It's going to stay at 16 points, which is respectable, just not enough to win the game. 18 points, actually. So what can Lambe do? His main problem is that he cannot get meeples back. So the best that he can do is equalize the field. But if he does that, actually, maybe that's enough for him. So let's see. Maybe he can just go here. Drop his last meeple somewhere, some sort of farm, whatever, and he invades. So the city's going to be similar. Then there are 18 points here. And then these monasteries against these two cities are 14, so that's 32. He's going to be 65 against 56. And game over needs to simply score 9 points with 2 meeples, which is a relatively easy task on this wet board. So maybe Lambe's route to victory is get some quick points and then invade. Bogdan meeples a 4-point road, hoping to turn it into a 7-point road with one of the curves. A quick point tile for Lambe, but a quick point tile for Bogdan as well. He should be scoring 4 points here. He could also go flashy and drop a third farmer. I don't think it's quite necessary. There's still plenty of invasion spots to the field. So the Italian can really postpone his invasion until the last moment. 4 extra points for Bogdan. But 4 extra points for Lambe for another city. He's still staying within range. Bogdan's thinking of maybe expanding his field and going like this. But then it wouldn't actually help because that would open even more invasion spots. Instead, he goes for this absolutely lovely move. It looks like it's an invasion, but not necessarily. So it is a 6-point farm, which is simply designed to score. But on top of being a 6-point farm, it can also invade the main field if Lambe chooses to invade. Beautiful, beautiful find by Bogdan. And what does Lambe do? First of all, rejoice that he got one of the 2 curves. I think tying the field can still maybe do it for him, or not quite. I think he'll be losing by like 2 points. So imagine if this farmer never invades, and if Lambe goes here, here invades like this. Then the field's going to be tied, but Bogdan's going to have 10 points here. Wait! Okay, 10 points here, right? So 4 for the road, 6 for the field. That is 70. 14 for the monasteries against the city, and 18 point here. That's 32. So this puts Lambe at 72. So it is doable. He just got to count tiles hard. Let's try and help him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just double checking that there is still 1 curve available. How we're doing for straight lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No straight lines. How we're doing for crossroads? No crossroad. This is all fantastic news. There are no starting tiles available. So actually, there's nothing to help this farmer invade. Although I need to double check the daggers. There is a dagger available, so that's a bit unfortunate. But you know what? He can just go for what is going to be a 16% chance. Yeah, he goes for the 1 in 6 chance. Great find, great find. So he wins if he gets both the curve and the dagger. Oh, wait, is there even... Okay, he gets the dagger first. He invades, but Bogdan gets the curve. He gets the curve. And look at this. It would have been a 1-point win. It would have been a 1-point win because he's invading through Red's road. He's invading through Red's road, so he's adding a point to Red's road. And that was a lovely find as well. Of course, only 16% chance, but still from such a difficult position, a non-zero chance of winning. I would have been such a lovely comeback. But of course, if you're going to do something like this, you should expect that you're only going to be successful once every 6 games, which is a lot more than 0. And now we're going to see Bogdan win by like 30 or 20. 15 only, actually. And this will mean that he has won the match, which means that we can move on to other games. Yes, it was a nice attempt indeed, I have to agree. I think 16% is the best that he could do in that situation. But it was also a really nice find for Bogdan to go for this flexible farmer. Because from Lambe's perspective, had Bogdan not done this, I think there were some 50-50 shots or even better chances at winning. So this was probably the only move that gave Bogdan such a high win probability. And actually from Bogdan's perspective, it was even better because he had 3 tiles available. So yeah, you know what? This move, let me think about this. 95% chance of winning. So he only loses if Lambe draws both of these tiles. Or, from Bogdan's perspective, he only loses if his draws are both extenders, like this and where was the other one? And this. Wait, am I actually misevaluating this? Okay, let me think. So, okay, so 2 out of 5 times 1 out of 4. Okay, 90%. Fine. 90%. 90%. Not 95. Yeah, I just care about these things a lot. Anyway, beautiful game. Way lovelier than the first one. Lots of content moves. Lots of back and forth and chances for both sides until the end. I'm content. I'm content because we get our content. Yay. Alrighty, how are the other matches doing? Is Isloun yet crowned the winner? Well, not yet. Or maybe yes yet. He does win his second game against Tito Arce like right now. So a clean sweep in the 5 weeks of the group stage for Ilya, who was actually one of the lowest rated players, but I think his rating does not actually depict his actual strength because he like plays casual games with expansions that always brings him down. He's actually way stronger in 550. In any case, no need to be sad if you're a Chilean fan. Tito is still moving to the playoffs. He's just not going to have himself a rest week. And finally, our third match, which may or may not be going on. Hey, that's interesting. Has it been cancelled or something? Because I don't see him playing against Kreukle. Oh, it has just started. Well, look at that. So there was like a 40-minute delay because they had this issue with Board Game Arena because they couldn't start. So we get to watch an entire match from start to finish. Well, look at that. The day just keeps getting better. So, Gassion with very patriotic blue meeples, just like the national football team. And one of the colors on the flag is the starting player here, was also at the moment the higher rated player, of course. Both players have achieved expert status more than once. The Lithuanian with the red meeples will be looking to secure his first victory of the tournament. And it is my neighborly duty to root for him. But I will be impartial in announcing the moves. So Kreukle has already 4 points, looking to start a new city and put additional pressure on an already troubled road meeple of Gassion. Now still 3 tile that fit into this square, because blue took care of one vulnerability, but a wonderful monastery tile for red for 5 points, controlling his opponent's city, supporting a city of his own. And this leaves a bunch of interesting choices. Now, I think most players of up to expert level would do this. Well, not that. You turn it the other way. You really... Yeah, that is a misjudgment, I think, because he really don't wants to be tied to the monastery. Like, the best that you can do is actually get out of that situation as soon as possible. So you want to try and build outwards. Yeah, because look now, he just entered into a losing mini battle. He will be able to build up here maybe, but now if there's a threat, he needs to invade here. But as blue, instead of this, I would have preferred a different move. There are 2 strong options, either going here on the previous move, exerting additional pressure on this square, or going here, starting a new city and exerting additional pressure of this square. Tricky situation for the Frenchman suddenly, as red gets a lovely tile to continue what is currently still his road and build up a city, but Gassion with a fantastic tile of his own. He can either score 4 points with the disadvantage of putting pressure on his own square here, or he can do this. He can score 3 points and shorten the road of red in case these 2 meeples do part ways. But a third move, which I would have really liked, was going over here, covering up the road, and starting a new city. And this would make sure that you're setting yourself up for a really strong move with one of the 3 remaining daggers. Not this dagger, but the other kind, with the right turn. But still, all 3 options, valid options. We can see that Kreukle gets the crossroads and separates the 2 roads. So it's quite fortunate for the Frenchman that he managed to shorten his road in advance. Now a lovely draw, managing to get into Red City right before it's too late. Both players equal on the scoreboard. Kreukle with a second monastery. Gassion connects to the city. And a very interesting tile for Kreukle. He's going for a bigger city with a bunch of Doritos. I actually like this move, although it has a downside. It gives back this 4-point road, which in addition to scoring for Gassion, it will give back a platform to try and reconnect to the city. Dorito tile for blue. Smart move from red, actually making it harder to continue the road. So there's a situation possible in the future where red goes here with a curve to build up his monastery, here with a straight line to block the square, and then after this road is blocked here, not blue but red draws the dagger tile to score the 4 points without freeing the road of blue. In the meantime, there is tension in the right part of the board. Blue is trying to equalize the city over here, and he now draws a tile that helps him succeed. There are multiple ways of doing this. He could go over here. That would be a very direct way to equalize. But in case of a splitter, Kreukle can change his plans and go here and free up his 8-point city and then try to block that square. But instead, he chooses to go for full-on invasion, which is kind of risky. because there are not many triple city tiles remaining. There are only 4. In the meantime, Gassion gets himself a road tile with a city to score 4 points and create the threat of finishing his road. Kreukle, now a bit short on meeples, decides not to spend them. He's probably looking with this guy not to invade, but just bail out. Yep, this is exactly what happens. But now a change of plan for Gassion. Blue can go over here and, well, the content move would be invade. It would be bad, but that would be the content move. The actual good move would be waiting for a straight line, blocking the square, leaving the red meeple trapped at 3 points, and then getting the triple city tile and having yourself a big ruin. But maybe Blue knows that he's being streamed, and he would want to entertain us all with some risky plays. He's thinking about it. I don't think he is, but he's thinking about it. Yeah, thought so. So he does not... Actually, this is really, really smart, because it has a very similar effect. It restricts the square toward the 50-50, which is almost good enough as a block. And then in the event that Kreukle does draw the tile soon, then suddenly Blue can change plans and choose to invade the city instead. Now, the most likely outcome, of course, is that this meeple will simply get to score 4 points and go back into Blue's hand, and then we have ourselves an even game. So let's see here. Red builds up his monastery, chooses to do so with a city, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So if he manages to get a sequence of good tiles, that could be just a monster sequence. If he gets himself a city cap here and a city cap here, 8 points for the city, 9 points for the monastery, that's almost game over. And you know what? Maybe that's actually a decent idea, because there are still 2 vanillas. There are a couple of Doritos. There's a split here, and so on and so on. Okay, he gets one of those city caps. And he will go here, no doubt. The only thing that I have doubts is, oh, of course he doesn't even have to meeple it, because Gassion has used his last meeple. This is just the dream for the Lithuanian player, who gets now a lovely tile which he can use to block Gassion's road. But maybe instead he's concerned for the safety of his monastery and he goes for a defense, which I don't think he should do. You know, red blocks blue, block Blue's red, block Blue's red, Blue blocks red. That's the right sequence of the words. And also a tricky situation for Blue, actually, because he really wants to get a meeple back, but then you kind of have to go here and block it. No, he wants to get the meeple back first. Maybe he wants to draw the city cap himself, but Kreukle now gets himself the important tile to connect to the city, and now we're gonna see Blue's plan. Blue saying, okay, you go here, now I'm actually going to try and take over the city. And it's an absolutely good move, because the position of the Frenchman is actually not great. He's ahead on the scoreboard, but Kreukle is ahead on meeples, and he has a monastery threat, which is really, really difficult to deal with. I guess as Blue, you could go over here just to occupy that city, but then you would be giving a meeple back to your opponent, which you're trying to block, and then... Ooh. Yeah, that looks like a panic move. This is a rather easy victory for Kreukle from this point. So Blue finishes a city and drops a 3-point farmer. And the only viable explanation for this move is simply nerves. So Blue does not want to invade the city here. Kreukle gets himself the city cap and the 8 points for the city and the 9 points for the monastery. This shows you the power of these setups. And because there was this big threat, like this 8-point city for Gassion is not going to be enough. He really needed to go here and try to go for the big city. There were decent probabilities. Like, there are 2 tiles that fit into this square still. and there are a bunch of Doritos, and the city could be worth 30-something points. Instead, he has himself a meeple minority with a blocked road and with a self-blocked city, essentially, that could have been prevented. And difficult life for the Frenchman. Well, since Gassion can no longer qualify, he might not be particularly motivated to win this match. If he does win this match, he will become one of the 2 players in the entire tournament to not qualify for the playoffs with 3 victories. A 2-pointer for Gassion. I mean, with 1 meeple, every little helps. Kreukle decides to invade Blue's farmer. Yeah, you can do that now that you have to. You can always delay that. And in fact, I think I would have actually tried to delay that move. And simply, I would wait for Blue to try and prove the worth of that farmer. So a stronger move for the Lithuanian was going here and just trying to block that city. But maybe he decided that there were too many city plus road tiles in the deck, and he's waiting for a different tile, such as a straight line over here, that would allow him a restriction toward the city plus field tile against this blue meeple. A curve is being stuck into Kreukle's city, making it extremely difficult to complete, as there's only 1 dagger tile remaining that fits into the square. Kreukle now responds in kind, so look at this. He's counting tiles. He knows that there were many city plus road tiles available, and one of them happens to be in Gassion's hand. Kreukle now draws another one, and even though 4 points are added to the Frenchman's scoreboard, this guy will need to wait his turn for a long time. And the longer Blue spends with just 1 meeple in hand, the longer Red can keep his advantage. But actually, now that I look at this, Red has used up his meeples pretty quickly. He got a 6-point field, which is gonna equalize Gassion's field. And he has a 6-point field here, which is really not that much. So unless he finds some city caps, maybe a splitter tile, to develop his field, this game is actually pretty even. Let's count how our blocked meeples are doing. Maybe let's not, because there's other stuff going on. So Kreukle now takes 4 points, and this was a super important dagger because it was one that fit over here. But now Gassion with a dagger that fits for this square. So meeple is now blocked. And 9 points for the Lithuanian. And what do? There's a threat of a permanent block over here. With any curve, here or here. I wonder if it's crazy to go like this. Yes, it is. Instead, he just chooses to take 1 point, and a bit of a, I was going to say imprecise move by Kreukle, but it ends up paying off like a charm. Look at this. So the reason why I was iffy about this move, oh, never mind, I miscounted tile. This is an excellent move. It's a complete block, because I just saw that there were 2 of these guys, the vertical splitters, and I thought that there was one of those remaining, but there it is over here. So actually there's no tile at all that fits into the square. All 4 cows, all 3, okay, 2 extenders have been drawn. So it is now not possible to finish the city for Gassion. Well, that move is interesting. Gassion is fighting. He's dropping a divider in Kreukle's field. And I think the purpose of this move is just to simply prevent the unification of all these farmers. Ooh, but look at this. He finishes a shared city for a total of 0 points and drops a farmer. Kreukle with +9. But rather clunky tile. He takes a 6-point field. I would have preferred a 6-point road here for a chance to get a meeple back. But the Lithuanian has plenty of meeples to score, and there are plenty of 6-point fields, and so on and so on. Now Carcassonne takes the 6-point road. Monastery for Kreukle. Presumably wants to go here for 6 points. The Frenchman with a chance to score 7 by going here and dropping a farmer. And now Kreukle needs to find his one and only best move. Oh wait, never mind. I kind of missed this guy. So this square was completely blocked. Yeah, it was any of these 4-point cities that he could afford to meeple. It's a really nice game for the Lithuanian, and especially this block over here. And also some really good tile counting. There were some dagger asymmetry decisions that he made, and initially my first instinct as red was to use this curve for blocking, but he actually recognized that this wouldn't be blocking and then spent an extra tile and went from the other side. That was some really high level stuff from the Lithuanian. This setup over here, this block, and I felt that the lower rated player managed to outplay the higher rated player this time. So congratulations to Kreukle and all our Lithuanian fans for the victory in the first game in this best of 3 series. So I want to keep rooting for the Lithuanian, but I also want for the match to last longer because it is the last match of the group stage. So in order for that to happen, Carcassonne's going to need to try and win. Let's not forget to update the scoreboard in a rather pleasant way. Wait, I've lost the players. Come back. Okay, there we go. What a kind thing to put in the bio, unless it's some sort of song lyric with which I'm unfamiliar. Alrighty, now Kreukle has the starting player advantage, and again, red meeples versus the Frenchman's blue. Already 4 points on the scoreboard as a result of this city. Carcassonne starts a city which is initially obstructed, with Kreukle with the first monastery of the game for 5 points. Carcassonne starts a new road, indirectly continuing his city. Red immediately gets a curve and invades the road. That's a great opening position for red, and this is a misplaced, this is a severely misplaced city cap actually. You really don't want to waste city caps in cities which have a low chance of completion. It has some positional merits like this, but the Lithuanian is just going to defend here. Well, a bit imprecise. The defense here is a little bit stronger, so that you wait for another curve and you pre-build this. But look at this. Like, how does this work? How does this end up working? So he was, of course, adding the city cap and making the square more vulnerable to a block. But before the Lithuanian manages to draw any straight line to put pressure on the square, a splitter is drawn for the Frenchman, and now it is a game. Of course, still 7 extra points for red. But blue actually has some nice stuff. 3 points for the city, 4 points for the road, and the game is really equal. The first farmer is nice, of course. It's an exceptionally powerful field with a plethora of green squares and easy future development. So eventually, the Frenchman will need to get in on it, but instead he spends a move on a shared feature that's really not something that you want to do because it scores 0 points. Unless he's thinking like this. I just drew a splitter and I'm feeling it. So I'm gonna get a Dorito here, which would be of course a poor move, but it doesn't matter. And then my opponent's not gonna get a block, not gonna get an invasion, and then I'm gonna get the last splitter in the deck. By the way, even if that happens, it's still not necessarily worth it. So a far better move for blue was just to simply start a new city at the bottom and put pressure on this square. This is some standard stuff for most competitive players. Kreukle, in the meantime, is threatening a 10-point city or a 12-point city, which will need to be immediately prevented by Gassion. And he manages to avert disaster, at least temporarily. But the Lithuanian is unperturbed. He just keeps building and building and creating those threats. And now a difficult decision for Gassion. Does he go here and block his own road for just 5 points for the sake of blocking Kreukle's city? Or does he not? And he decides quite wisely to simply score 2 points, still try and complete this road in a variety of possible ways. Well, not many ways. Curve plus Dorito with the road, really. And then he can invade. Okay, now a real content move would be maybe forgetting that red has the city and blue going, oh wait, I have a road, why don't I go here? And then accidentally finishing a city for red. Nope, he doesn't go for it, of course. He invades the city, and now the next order of business is to finish the road. So the main threat has been averted. And in the process of all this 6-point farmer is not being developed. Now, it's still a very good farmer, but I've seen games where there's an early farmer which looks absolutely great, maybe 1 or 2 cities, but loads of green squares. But no new cities are added ever in the game, not because this farmer gets blocked or anything, but simply because there's just so much stuff going on in other parts of the board that there's no time to use city caps in this field. So let's see if this is something that happens. So the Frenchman has one incredibly strong move available to him. Now, of course, he wants to start a new city. So close, so close. Of course, it was incomparably better to just shift this 1 square to the left. You were so close. So he got the idea right, because he's trying to restrict the field a little bit. And he's taking out 2 green squares. But if you were to move just here, then he would be taking out 3 green squares. And he would also be indirectly protecting his road, because now this square would be restricted, and it would be harder for Kreukle to go here and start pressuring these 2 sensitive points for blue. Red makes a move which sort of kind of prolongs his field. Gassion breathes a sigh of relief, as he will be able to complete this road in all likelihood. Still 4 curves available, but Kreukle now adds the pressure on, looking to invade this ruin. And now blue can't really invade over here, because there's still 3 Doritos with the road, which can be placed over here. So it's a tricky position. So I think what blue does here, okay, that's possible. That's also one option. I probably would have preferred just waiting and going here and then trying to find a tile that fits into this square. Yep. I think that was the way to go, but he's going to finish his city. Unless he wants to go here straight away. So the most realistic outcome is that this meeple invades and this square gets blocked. And this means that red gets the points for all the city, but the city does not get completed, and red loses 2 meeples and blue loses just 1. And that's sort of an equalish outcome, which slightly favors red because red's already ahead on the scoreboard. Red gets a curve, starts a new road, scoring tile for Gassion, looking to clean off the city cap and his opponent's field, I presume. He could maybe consider dropping a farmer, but it's too early. There are going to be field attacking opportunities later. This platform here is absolutely wonderful. Kreukle finishes his road and starts a new city, which could potentially disincentivize this blue meeple from trying to invade over here. And blue tries to prevent that opportunity from happening, so exerts some pressure on this square of Kreukle city, but this gives a chance for the Lithuanian to start putting pressure on this square of blue city. Blue with a scoring tile, looking to get 2 points. He might choose to go instead and start pressuring this guy further. But with his deficit, he really needs to score first. It's also not crazy to go here. He would make his own meeple vulnerable, but he would also expose this platform. And that's actually really interesting. Instead, he chooses to wait a little bit. Scores 2 points, 5 points behind. Kreukle with the dagger tile, not the kind that he wants. And now Gassion with a very interesting decision. So does he go over here? Does he actually try and overrun this big ruin? This could turn south, or this could turn wonderfully. He goes for it. He goes for it. What will Kreukle do? So now if Kreukle gets himself some sort of a triple city tile, he gets to go over here and then block this square toward the quadruple city tile. But the Frenchman is going to make it now so much harder. I presume that he's going to go here and restrict the number of triple city tiles that fit into this square, whilst the number of triple city tile that fits into this square is still 3. So basically, if he goes here, he needs to draw a cow, another cow, or a horse before his opponent draws one of the 2 cows. If anybody's here with a probability calculator, please let me know what the chances of success are. We have no time. Yeah, and look at this. So he didn't go for this restriction, and that's why Kreukle is now trying to save his meeple, or at least make it unrestricted, but I think I know what he's doing. Gassion is waiting for a curve to fit into the square. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to get a curve and restrict the square more severely. Not now, not now, not now, no, 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 no. Well, it's a nice idea. It was incomparably better to just finish the city at the top, put the pressure on the red meeple, and just invade the field later. The field is not that big just yet. Yeah, we can see the impatience from the Frenchman. There was so much stuff to do in this position, and especially if you have a meeple in a vulnerable position, you really don't want to be using a city cap like this. Of course, the invasion is successful, and he's going to get another chance anyway, so it ends up not mattering. But this could go really south for blue if red somehow draws a tile to restrict this meeple. Because this configuration is really important to get right. The longer the blue meeple stays on this cap, the better the red meeple is feeling. Because as soon as this city is being completed, as you see, it exposes an attacking platform against this square. which should make all our Lithuanian fans a little bit nervous. But also just wanted to point out something that happened to the ruin. It happened so fast that I didn't even comment on it. So a cow, in fact, was drawn by kreukle, who completes the connection, who blocks the square, and now is going to have himself a winning mini battle. So these two meeples are blocked for 5 points. And these two meeples are blocked for 11 points. So -6, honestly not the worst outcome. So at least from the Frenchman's perspective, the disaster scenario was averted. And there were even some tile combos available how these guys would take all the city points and this guy would be trapped. It was possible. In the meantime, blue is trying to block and block and block, which actually makes a lot of sense because red is shorter meeples, and red has two sensitive squares which need a city plus field tile. So if you manage to get a curve here and a straight line here, then both of these squares will be in need of the same dagger, which, by the way, is not even in the deck anymore. In fact, there are no daggers of any kind, so the blocking could be really important here. Even though there are not that many tiles remaining to play, it will be important for the eventual field fight. Kreukle is still trying to finish his road, but now Gassion has a chance to block this guy at the very least, which he should do. It is better than 3 points. He wants to double check the tile counts before doing so. I wonder if he has different ideas. I hope not. Oh boy. Well, he goes for the farmer, which is extremely misguided. Yeah. The issue with that move is that it doesn't work that often. You know why? Because the Lithuanian can get a city cap and meeple this 6-point farm, but the Frenchman gets the curve first, so he actually manages to complete the invasion. But kreukle is now trying to fight for the field on the right. The Lithuanian with 3 quick points. He also needs to realize that the field is actually not that big. And he's ahead on the scoreboard. He can actually win without the field. He just needs to finish this city. Maybe meeple a teeny tiny 6-point field here or something like this. Maybe score 3 quick points for this road or something like this. Blue is now thinking whether it is worth to go here and meeple the city. He decides yes. And I have to agree here, but kreukle with questionable priorities, I have to say. Very questionable priorities. I mean, these are understandable, of course, that you want to get this city back, but this city is very, very dangerous, isn't it? Wait, are there even city caps available? Yes, there is. There's a splitter. Red goes for the 6-point farm. And red really kind of wants to complete this invasion, or at the very least he wants to deny the invasion to the Frenchman. 3 points for blue. It's a 2-point game. Currently the majority on the main 15-point field is for blue. But 2 extra points on the scoreboard and 2 extra points on the board for kreukle and the 6-point farm as well. Kreukle gets another farmer. But I wonder if that's a bit excessive because he has already so many farmers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait. And there are no curves remaining. Well, there's a monastery and there's a splitter. So he is the favorite to invade, but at the moment, Actually, at the moment, it looks like Gassion only has a 10% chance of winning or something. Oh, that was such a smart idea, except the splitter is drawn by Kreukle, and this will be another short match. As the equality on the field is achieved, it will be absolutely enough, and even if it were not enough, this city is not going to get finished anyway. This was the last city cap. Wait, was it? Well, there is a city cap, right? It was the last city plus field cap. Of course, there are like starting tiles available. There are 2 of them. So, wait a minute. Blue will be finishing his city, and I wonder if that's enough. There's really not a lot that he can do now. So the remaining tiles should be starting tile monastery. He decides to sort of kind of block. Okay, so one of the starting tiles is drawn by Kreukle. And the other one is drawn by the Frenchman, who is going to complete his city. And I wonder if that will be enough to outscore the ruin plus the field? Is that a tie? I think that's a tie. I think we have our tie, which will be counted as a win for the Frenchman if I counted the points correctly, which is, if you've been watching my channel long enough, is a huge if. Yeah, I think Red must have forgotten that the field was not the only winning opportunity for Gassion. He simply finished the city and won. What a game. What a game. And we're going to have ourselves a decider, which I hope that now Kreukle wins. It's definitely a bit of a painful loss, because I felt like Red was playing well and even a little bit outmaneuvering his opponent, creating all these threats everywhere, managing to get in over here. It's just, in the end, was a very nice idea trying to go for the city. And it proved to be just enough. Both players are ready for the decider, it seems, without any breaks. The table has not yet been created. So let's keep refreshing. I know that I would definitely need a break after such a game as either of the player, especially as Gassion. Wait, what am I doing? I'm just clicking all kind of tabs. I get distracted way too easily. Anyway, the decider has started. And a blue meeple is immediately placed on a curve, which is, of course, the worst starting tile, but a starting tile nonetheless. The Frenchman will have a statistical advantage, and Kreukle chooses to control the road and sacrifice 1 point. Now blue can easily escape from the situation. Yeah, this is a mistake. It is better to go here for 3 points and control the road from the other side. But both players actually exchange imprecisions. And I really like this move by red. It's counterintuitive, but if you finish this city for 4 points, which is what you normally want to be doing, you actually give your opponent a little bit too much back. Now, a blocking attempt from blue, but both of these city caps are still open for either party. Now, a strong move available, and he finds it. Starts a 2-point road, and he sets up a sneaky curve move. So he wants to get a curve, build up his monastery, whilst also pushing blue's road into this blockable square. Blue picks up an empty city cap, starts a new city, now turns it the right way outwards. Learning his lesson from the first game, which was rather painful. A slight imprecision for kreukle. If he's going for this block, it was actually... Wait, was it though? Yeah, you know what? I think it was a bit better to turn it the other way, because in case blue successfully defends, he's going to get himself this lovely road, and this is not something that we want to have as red. So one difficult part of Carcassonne is trying to visualize how sequences of multiple tiles are going to grow together. And very often, if you leave a road end, which is a few squares away from your opponent, it can be a bit harder to visualize how this road end could be used by your opponent. In any case, a blocking threat was created. There was an attempt to defend, but unsuccessful, as this meeple will be permanently trapped with 4 points. This meeple still super vulnerable, especially after blue drew one of the dagger tiles that fit into this square, but there are still 2 of those available. And even if this guy gets blocked, first of all, it will require extra effort and blues and point sacrifices, and blues and moves and point sacrifices. And second, in any case, this monastery is just going to score more. Quadruple city tile by Gaissian. He chooses to build up his own stuff, which also actually makes it harder to invade. Red starts a new roads, which I think is a slight imprecision. New roads are lovely, but why not start the road here, where you actually get not only the road, but also the opportunity to harass your opponent. You know, these small imprecisions, they add up. You really want to be looking for those multi-purpose moves. Kreukle now building up his city at the top, now starting to block his opponent a little bit. Blue with a city cap, looking to invade. He's also looking to permanently block this square, and now red needs really to make the decision whether it's worth defending. And the answer is no. That's a great move from the Lithuanian. He puts pressure on this square, gives himself some sequences to try and overrun a 12-point city, and also actually sets up some opportunities how he can block blue instead. Something like a straight line plus a Dorito sequence frees up red's monastery, but also blocks blue's monastery. And now blue really doesn't have a good defense. Of course, he could go here, which is what he should do. But then he will be able to save his monastery, yes, but this will also secure the monastery of red. But he's unperturbed. He doesn't care about the security of his monastery at all. And kreukle now with a variety of good moves. So the first move that jumps to me is just going here for 4 points and meepling this city cap and trying to overrun a big city. But the issue with that is that the quadruple city tile has gone out and 3 cows has gone out, and it could be a while before we actually get a tile that fits into this square, and our opponents could actually block us. So to be honest, I don't know if it's worth it mathematically. Intuitively, like, it is right on the edge. I would do it. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Are we here for the content or not? And also, because if you don't do it, like, what exactly do you do? You know what? There's some other considerations here. And he goes for it. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, nice, 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 nice. So the consideration that I have is that in some scenarios, if Gaissian gets to go here and try a block, then it allows us to create a counter block here. And this threat is just really, really annoying to deal with. And also, like, if we do successfully defend, then we probably defend towards one of the 3 cows, and there's one of the 3 horses, and there's still 3 horses available, 3 triple cities with the road. In any case, that's interesting. And it also could cause our opponent to panic. So I wonder... No panic from blue. Still makes his top equity move of scoring 4 points for the city and starting a new one. Because one thing that blue needs to understand, even though he should eventually try and go block this square... If red completes that city, it's not like it's the end of the world. It's very much not the end of the world. Kreukle now going for it. He is trying to leave 3 tiles that go here. The 3 starting tiles. Which would be unfortunate, of course, for Gassion to draw. But he has many, many more tiles for this square. For example... 3 vanilla city caps, 4 Doritos, and he simply needs to draw one of his 8 tiles. There's also a splitter available before his opponent draws 3. Actually, you know what? I wanna look at the probabilities. Where's the link? Where's the... Okay, the board game arena is really not working. But I feel like that I should just like learn this stuff by heart. But anyway, the probability should be good. My estimate is like 70% chance for Kreukle to save his monastery and to block the monastery of Gassion. But a great tile for the Frenchman. He gets the lead on the scoreboard, scores 4 points, prepares his monastery for the completion. Very, very tense situation here. Kreukle gets the first starting tile. He will not go over here. Unless he's feeling generous, but why would he? He simply continues his road, which I think is a bit sheepish. I would have loved a city move here. It's a bit of an inefficient use of a tile. Maybe he was afraid that his road could get attacked a little bit. Well, actually, you know what? That's kind of smart. Because the way he's setting up the city cap, only he can really use it. Well, he's more likely to use it because if Gassion gets the starting tile, then he's going to go here. But if red gets the starting tile, he's going to go here. And what an unfortunate sequence. So this move will end up permanently blocking this. Even though there were many, many defense tiles available in the deck. So many road tiles, but that's okay. Because red just pre-finished his monastery. Completely blocked blue's monastery and still has 1 tile that's left into the square for a meeple recovery. Again, not exactly sure if this invasion was worthwhile mathematically. Felt like it was really, really on the edge. But I would have done it as red, so I don't think that the Lithuanian should feel any regrets. And a dagger is drawn, but not the right kind. Not many options, really. Just probably start a new city somewhere. Maybe here? It's not necessarily the worst idea to start a field, but it's a bit too early for this, because we really want to keep the meeples for one of the 2 remaining monasteries. That will be the sequence that really gives us an advantage in this game. He does start a new city. Please don't drop a farmer. Yes, yes, yes. Some excellent patience from Kreukle. Gassion with the scoring tile. He's probably looking to go here and actually still keep his city alive. This will be a threat that will be difficult to deal with for red at some point. Of course, some other moves are available. He could go here, score 3 points, or go here and set up a sneaky blocking opportunity towards the square. But this move seems to be quite powerful because it just threatens stuff. Yeah, he takes 3 points, which I can't blame him for, but then if you go here, you score just 1 point less because you score 2. But the value of the threat is really significant here. Kreukle gets the last cow tile, is trying to block the square. Now, of course, it will be taken care of by gut looks. Road tile for red. Dangerous, dangerous. He could get his city blocked. He could get his road blocked. Blue uses the monastery spot for kreukle. Actually, that's a huge relief. And now a farmer is not a bad idea, I think. He gets himself a meeple back. The last dagger is drawn by blue. Which is, of course, a bit unfortunate because red worked so hard. Imagine how cool is this? Like, you block one blue meeple, you block another blue meeple, and then you get out of it yourself. You commit the crime and you flee. But the last dagger is blue's. He uses it to get 4 points, but a great tile for kreukle as he gets to score 4 points of his own. Not the most efficient scoring move. Not the most efficient scoring move. I think that was a bit of impatience from the Lithuanian. You know why? Because he was preparing to make this move before he knew what the Frenchman's going to do. And this, of course, is nice. It finishes him a road. It starts a new field and everything with lots of potential. But if you go here and take 4 points, then you can finish a road on the next turn and create an even bigger field. And because of Red's meeple advantage, which he still somehow has in the long term, and the fact that he's a bit behind due to his opponent's big ruin, which isn't even a ruin yet, and some monasteries, it is in Red's interest to create a big field. So maybe he just didn't see... Yeah, he definitely, you know what? Because before this move hit the board, he just didn't see that opportunity of scoring 4 points like this. Welp, it is what it is. Red is now trying to block Blue's monastery to secure himself an equal advantage. Blue was trying to run away with the city, and it's something that Red will need to deal with. Thank you, Glovier, for confirming that the probability in this situation that I was talking about was 71%, which means my estimate was right. I feel pretty good about that. A sigh of relief for all Lithuanian fans as this dangerous city is now blocked. But Kreukle's city is now restricted, but it doesn't matter. He gets himself 4 points and a meeple back, and a valuable tile could have been used by Gassion to build up his monastery, but he could do it now. Meeples will be important in this game. The Lithuanian now with the lead on the scoreboard, but not for long. So as Red, you really want to start building up your field, and he goes for it. Potentially even dropping a second farmer and just trying to draw all the remaining city caps in the deck. 9 points are scored for Blue. Blue's ahead on the scoreboard again. Blue is threatening an 8-point city here as well. Not much that we can do about it. Well, actually, we can use this tile to maybe start harassing this meeple. Normally, you want to use Doritos to prolong your own cities, but that would be a bit too dangerous. Because regardless how you orientate the Dorito, you sort of subject yourself to a block a little bit. 4 quick points from a crossroads for Blue. Curvy tile for Red, looking to try and block this guy. Needs to think about the orientation of the road. And it seems to me that pointing the road in the city is a bit more precise due to the dagger asymmetry. But wait a second, there's no dagger asymmetry. All daggers have gone out. So wait, this is actually better. Let me think about this. Or maybe let me not think about this. Okay, great tile for kreukle. He just needs to find the way to permanently block the city. Too dangerous, too dangerous. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. That's disaster. As Red just blatantly allows Blue to complete a 12-point city, and there's no coming back from that. This 12-point city will be the highest feature scored by any of the players in the entire game. That's how important it was. The monasteries are 8. Okay, the monasteries are 9. This blocked city is 9. The field is 9. And this city is 12 and a meeple back. So it was an existential threat. And of course, Lithuania had to use this tile over here, completely blocking blue. The pain. I feel like Kreukle has come close a couple of times to winning a match. And maybe it will still happen. Just not this year. Blue, with the scoring tile, is looking to score 2 points in one of a myriad of ways. Or maybe even go over here and try to make it harder for red to finish his city. That would not be a good move of his lead, but he goes for it. Red, of course, immediately saves his city, but a city cap is drawn by Carcassonne nonetheless. And he can actually fully block it, I believe. Well, let's see if he finds this move, because you see, there is still a city plus field cap, but it is the one that red already needs for this square. So if he goes like this, with the city cap pointing up. Okay, he doesn't even bother now. Some chances. Kreukle covers up. Still one city cap. Come on. That's not fair. Not fair. Carcassonne isn't fair. This game isn't fair. That was a huge swing. And also, the reason why I really wanted to see the city cap for the Lithuanian, because I kind of like seeing mistakes getting punished. So basically, it's a good move to try and block your opponent's city like this. But when you are with a big lead, all you need to do is prevent the worst case scenario. And with some lucky runouts, if only red were to draw this city cap, red would finish himself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 point city, 3 more points on the farm, and a meeple back. So that's 15 points in a meeple back. And then green or blue would not have gotten these 7 points. So that was a huge, huge swing. Now, of course, blue is going to abuse his meeple majority to score even more points towards the end. And this game will be finished. Just one mistake from the Lithuanian. Okay, there was another one. Like, this was a bit of an imprecision, but it's justifiable. But one game decisive mistake. That's sometimes all it takes in competitive Carcassonne. Just one mistake. A curve is drawn by Carcassonne. Both players are about to exchange pleasantries in the chat. Carcassonne is saying very lucky on my side, but I don't think any particular. Well, definitely this city cap, very much. Yes, very, very lucky. But other than that, felt like a rather balanced game. Very back and forth. I love that opening here with all those blocks. So this was a... this here was a lovely sequence. Yeah, I felt that, like, out of all Kreukle's matches that I've streamed, this definitely had to be the best one. Won the first game and had some real chances in the second and third. I kind of felt that, you know, after you work so hard for the second game and then your opponent wins by a tie or by 1 point, it's just very hard to concentrate during the third. 30 points is the difference, which does not reflect how close this match was. We congratulate all our friends, fans, commiserations to me and all other Lithuanian fans. But that's okay. Hopefully that was an interesting experience for them to play in this tournament. They will be looking back to come back next year. If, of course, they manage to surmount the obstacles of the Lithuanian national qualifier, but that's a question for November 2025. So now we have the full results for Group A. The reigning champion, someone you know, asserts his dominance, being still the first place in the group. Hydra Baby of Taiwan second. Guilherme Neves of Portugal, Glovier's third, barely, by a tiebreaker, because Gassion, after winning this match, gets himself this tiebreaker, I believe. So by 2 games, the Portuguese player advances, and this makes Gassion finish, I think, 25th in the tournament, and Erwin G, the other player with 3 wins to not qualify, is finishing in 26th. Then for the other players, well, let's just update kreukle's statistics. For the other groups, we're gonna just scroll quickly. Actually, not so quickly, because a lot have happened now in Group B. So Isloun did manage to win against Tito Arce. Game Over did manage to win against Lambe. He will still be in third with the same number of matches won as Tito, but with a worse tiebreaker. Xiang Yu-Chin will not be able to qualify, surprisingly, and surprisingly, Vivian Charlot lost 4 matches and won 1. Really a rough year for the Frenchman. A reminder that he was the reigning runner-up. So now we know that this year we're going to have a new runner-up. Not necessarily a new champion, although I'd hope that. I'm really looking forward to trying a rematch against Vladimir. Group C is like this, so far going well. I get myself a rest week, which is great. So I'll get to do some streaming, and this will be a nice improvement for my Carcassonne to life balance. Group D probably ended up the tightest. And there were also some controversies about timeouts. This tournament has a very strict timeout rule, and a key match between Tarikhanov and Secret Star was decided by a power outage, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It was decided in favor of the Chinese player, who will advance from first place. In Group E, visitor Q of Catalonia manages to come up on top of Rui Costa of Portugal and MTU of Poland, and the highest rated player, Pyro of Japan, and I think even the captain of the Japanese team in the 2024 World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, if I'm not mistaken. And the Catalan players on top of everybody. Still, MTU and Leo are going to qualify. In Group F, Eismays of Germany quite confidently won all but 1 match. The reigning world champion Dani Angelatz in second and Pak Shane third. Kind of everything how we expected, except that maybe Matej Tabak, who is a long-time master, I would expect him to maybe put some pressure on these guys a little bit more. Also, it needs to be noted that the match between these 2 players currently holds the record for the shortest streamed match on this channel ever. They managed to complete their best of 3 with 3 games in just 30 minutes. Anatoly Samuelson of Ukraine dominates Group G with a clean slate of 5 victories. And Portgard of Vietnam and Nepomai of Latvia, yay, gets to qualify. Commiserations to Erwin G, who will be in fact finishing this tournament in 26th place, as his tiebreaker is slightly worse than the tiebreaker of the French player, Gassion. In Rabbit Rain of Japan, one of the highest rated onlines and undoubtedly one of the best players on the platform. Quite predictably wins Group H, although not without some speed bumps. Definitely a major highlight of the play with the screen name Crocodile Fundy, who won a match against Rabbit Rain on stream, and then ultimately won a decider against Kaiko of Malaysia to qualify from 3rd place. So these are the outcomes of this group. Some matches are yet to be played. Yeah, Mate is still going to play against Gladki Alex, but the other matches are going to be inconsequential. And in any case, everything was supposed to be finished by now. So a draw tomorrow is going to happen at 1400 UTC on the Carcassonne Ukraine channel, where the pairings for the first playoff round are going to be decided. And in fact, the entire playoff bracket, I think, is going to be decided. No, just the pairings for the first round. Then that's going to be it. I'm going to be wrapping this up shortly. Just make sure to meeple the like button before you leave. That helps with the algorithm a lot. In case you're here for the first time, be sure to subscribe for more competitive Carcassonne content like this and click the bell notification icon, because there's a lot of those streams and YouTube is not going to notify you of all of them. Next week, we're starting our playoff rounds. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.